an executive order uh, effectively ending cashless bail. What does that mean? What does that mean? Or what does that mean for us? Uh, think about it. The cash bail system is built on the backs of people who are without funds to pay for their pretrial release. Think of that. It's built on the backs of people who do not have funds to pay for their pretrial release. It may not seem so serious in the moment, but for anyone who has been pulled over uh, in their car for whatever reason, and you may have ended up in jail, you may have ended up uh, have to pay some type of bond. You may not even have had the money to pay the bond. The system that Donald Trump has just put in place specifically targets the poor, the impoverished. It targets people whom statistics already show do not have the funds to barter for their freedom. Why did I use the word barter? Because they want us to pay for our freedom. He wants us to pay for our freedom. Uh, he wanted in any opportunity for someone who doesn't have money to be able to get out of jail pending their trial. Now, he tried to hang his hat on public safety, but locking people up and keeping them detained during their pretrial period does not keep the public safe and does not save taxpayers money. Why do I say that? Because it has already been shown that it it has already been shown that 90%, 85 to 90% of pretrial detainees are in jail for nonviolent offenses. Nonviolent offenses. That means that the system, as we know it, is hanging their hat on locking up nonviolent offenders, keeping nonviolent offenders from locked up, which then cripples their opportunity to fight and defend themselves, costs taxpayers money, cause psychological trauma and all other types of form of adverse things to occur in this person's life. People are losing their jobs, can't pay their car notes, all type of things because they're in jail for some nonviolent offense and they can't pay their bail. So, what do we need to do? First of all, I want to really, really let us know what the cash bail system is, because I don't think really that we really know what the cash bail system is. And I'm not going to hold y'all up because I don't want y'all to just think it's just me saying this. So I'm going to read it. What is the cash bail system? What is the cash bail system that Donald Trump is so hell bent on reinforcing in a manner that offends the poor? All right, the cash bail system. Here it is right here. The cash bail system requires defendants to pay a set amount of money to be released from jail while awaiting trial, with the money serving as a guarantee that they will return for their court dates. However, this system is criticized for criminalizing poverty, as many individuals are detained simply because they cannot afford bail, even if they pose no danger to the community. Critics argue that cash bail disproportionately affects poor people and people of color, leading to job loss, housing instability, and further cycles of incarceration for legally innocent individuals. Many jurisdictions are implementing bail reforms, such as cashless bail systems that rely on risk assessment to determine release eligibility, with Illinois being the first state to fully eliminate cash bail. So, as I said, the cash bail system criminalizes poverty, criminalizes people of color. It eliminates all opportunities for people of color and people who are impoverished to really fight for their lives in a court system that's already against us. So, as I just read, as I just read, we have to start asking questions. We got to stop sitting back, allowing uh this guy, Donald Trump, to just do what he want to do, intimidate us, and all other stuff. We have to stand up, because if you see what's happening, who are the criminal justice system is made up of majority black and brown people and poor people. That's just the facts. These are indisputable facts. Now, why are there so many black and brown people incarcerated? Some would say that it's because we commit more crime. Statistics say differently. Statistics say differently. Statistics say that a black or brown person committing the exact same crime as a white person will receive more time, and the likelihood of a higher bail or no bail is very likely. And now, having personal experience with the bail system and all of this other stuff involving the criminal legal system, what happens is that a person who has can't pay their bond, but they may be locked up for a nonviolent offense, which 85 to 90% of the people who are incarcerated in jail systems throughout the United States are in for nonviolent offenses. Many of them are in for drug type offenses. They were alcohol driving while intoxicated, no license, no registration, etc., etc., etc. A whole list, a whole array of nonviolent offenses are jailed pending a bail, yet they're on nonviolent offenses. So we need to address this. This needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed ASAP, because what's happening is what's happening is we're finding ourselves, all of us are finding ourselves becoming the victims of a system that is slowly eating away at us. It is slowly eating away at us. And if you do not believe me, look at the order that Donald Trump just signed concerning ending cashless bails policies throughout the United States. He's targeting those states and those cities who have already ended cash bail or have implemented bail reform or are progressively moving in that direction. Why is that so important, though? As we know, every year the police comes on commercials and all this other stuff talking about they're cracking down on drunk driving, they're cracking down on speeders, they're cracking down on they got license plate readers now. All of these things that you can go to jail for, nonviolent offenses that you can go to jail for. And once in jail, you're given a bail. People riding around with bogus license plates or no insurance or things like that because they can't afford it. You'd have single mothers, single fathers, fathers and mothers who are just working their butts off just to take care of their household, to get their children to school. But yet, once pulled over, none of that matters. Once in jail, none of that matters. So what ends up happening is they end up imposing a bail on a person who couldn't afford a babysitter to watch the child while she went to work. So she had to miss work, or he had to miss work. Couldn't afford a babysitter to watch the child while the mother or father had to engage in other obligations, household obligations. But yet they're being punished, they're being penalized, they're being criminalized by this bail system. I want to tell you all of a short story of this young lady, and I won't say her real name, but it's a story of a young lady who our organization helped her out, and she couldn't pay her bail. She was incarcerated for, I think, assault and some stuff, domestic assault type stuff. And so when she was being arrested, she kept telling the officers, I didn't do it. I did not do it. Look at the video. Look at the ring cameras. They refuse to do all of that. We understand that. They refuse to do all of that. And so she kept telling the police that her ex-boyfriend, her children's father, new girlfriend was the one who had assaulted her. She had not assaulted him or the new girlfriend. Police didn't believe it, even though she was telling them to look at the food on her, which means the food was thrown on her and things of that nature. They took her to jail. She was in jail for 23 days. She was 23 years old. She was a single mother. They took her to jail off her porch. They locked her up. We came to her aid. We bailed her out. It took a long time to bail her out. Uh, she stood firm on her innocence that she didn't do anything. It was them who harmed, attacked, physically attacked, or did something to her. Police never wanted to look at the ring cameras or anything. So they take her to jail 23 days later. This is what happened. Because she was in jail for 23 days, she no longer had a job. CPS took her children. While she was gone, her house, because they did not allow her to go back in the house to situate stuff, the water overflowed and the basement flooded. So she got evicted. In addition to being evicted, while in jail, both of her cars, her house was ransacked, first of all. Her cars, her cars were broken into and stuff was done to the cars. The cars impounded, and the impound fees cost more than what the car was even worth. Obviously, she couldn't even pay her own bail. So how could she get her car out? She had no job to rely on to get a check from to get her car out. She couldn't show CPS that she was a good mother because she was being charged with domestic assault and she was jailed and left her children behind. So she couldn't even prove to CPS that she was a good mother. She didn't do this. So when it ended up happening, she stayed in jail for 23 days. She stayed in jail for 23 days. She ended up getting out. She ended up going to court. All of the charges were dropped. All of the charges were dropped simply because she was innocent all along. And she said this in the very beginning. She asked the officers to go to the ring cameras. This would have cleared her on that very day, in that very moment. But they had no intentions of having her cleared because that's how the criminal justice system is built, upon the backs of people, defenseless people, people who are impoverished, black and brown people, poor people who the system has been against since day one. The system is built off the backs of poor people, black and brown people. And so this young lady got out 23 days later. Her children are in foster care. She don't have a home, so she's homeless. She don't have a job, so she's jobless. She is without transportation. The mental trauma that she suffered weighed her down so much that she had to go to a mental hospital seeking mental health treatment. And that was almost 3 years ago. And she still suffers tremendously. And there's so many cases like hers that we deal with every year. criminal punishment system. I want to highlight a couple comments that people have said in response to this topic. You had my brother Kamani Barclay said, "My brother, you're on point with this one." Laquan Hill say, "Facts." DeAndre Calloway says, "How many times have people gotten out and turned around and offended witnesses? You cannot say you hate crime but advocate for the killers." Brother, I don't know where you got that from. I said non-violent offenders. Non-violent offenders. I'm talking about non-violent offenders. Non-violent offenders does not include violent offenders. So I don't know what you heard, how you heard it, when you heard it, or why you heard it. But that's not what I said. I'm very clear and articulate in the things that I'm saying because it is very close to my heart. So please don't take out of context what I'm saying because that sounds like what so many critics do. They try to take out certain things, add in certain things, and then try to say this is what was said. No, that's not what was said. I'm very clear with what I said. The criminal justice, the jails around the United States. I'm going to look it up for you, just so you know. What percentage, what percentage of jails throughout the United States are filled with nonviolent offenders? Hey, okay. It says, while specific nationwide data for jails is limited, studies of state and federal prisons show a high percentage of nonviolent offenders, with some estimates suggesting nonviolent drug offenses and poverty-related infractions account for a significant portion of the incarcerated population. Okay, okay. Now we're gonna go. What percentage of pretrial detainees are jailed for nonviolent offenses? This is what we need to start doing before we just rattle off stuff. We got to, approximately 62% of people held in jails nationally are pretrial detainees charged with nonviolent offenses, with majority of these individuals unable to afford bail rather than being held due to concerns about reoffending or fleeing. This situation has been a major driver of mass incarceration, disproportionately affecting minority populations who face greater obstacles in paying monetary bail. So, again, we're talking about nonviolent offenses. Yeah, DeAndre Calloway. That's my homeboy. I love that guy there, but his opinion and my opinion on this matter uh, differ very widely. And Donald Trump signed an executive order that effectively ends the cashless bail policies throughout the United States. And he wants to target those states and cities who have ended cash bail, such as Washtenaw County, ended cash bail, such as a couple cities out in California, Chicago, Illinois ended cash bail. He want to target them. He said he wants to withhold federal funding from those states and cities because they have moved toward ending cash bail. So how is he going to tell the state how to operate the way that they need to operate to keep their crime rates down and to be more effective and to be more just? But this is what has just happened. And We have so many of our people who don't understand the significance of the bail system. The the hardest driver for the bail system right now is bail bondsmen. In Michigan, one of the legislators who is so against ending cash bail in Michigan, he and his family own the bail bond system. The biggest bail bondsman in Michigan, biggest bail bondsman company in Michigan, is owned by one of the legislators in Michigan. How fair is that? Why would this legislator ever say I want to support ending cash bail if he's the one and his family is the one who's made money off the backs of poverty, off the backs of black and brown people? Come on now. We have to know the facts. We have to know what we're talking about when it comes to this bail system in Michigan. We have to understand that, first of all, our organization, Michigan Liberation, we have paid bonds for black mothers, the Black Mamas bailout. This money didn't come from some government. We raised this money. We fundraised for this money. People donated this money to help black mamas get out, reunite families, reunite mothers with their family. Nonviolent offenders, reunite them with their family. Because who are we? Who are we? Who are we to demonize a brother or sister for, like, we sentencing them? We becoming their judge and their jury just by the way that we think, just by the way that we have allowed the system to use and abuse us. We become their judge and jury. We condemn them, which in essence we condemn us. Donald Trump signed this executive order because now he want to criminalize any prosecutor in any state that has ended cash bail. Ending cash bail does not make the community unsafe at all. Statistics show. Don't believe me, I'm going to look it up for you. I'm going to look it up for you. Does ending cash bail make our communities unsafe? All right. Say multiple studies show no statistical significant link between ending cash bail and an increase in crime rates, including violent crime. Concerns about potential safety issues are a central part of the debate, but evidence from jurisdictions that have implemented bail reforms, such as Illinois and New Jersey, has not shown that ending cash bail makes communities unsafe. These are the statistics. So when we talk about ending cash bail, we're using facts. Ending cash bail does not make communities unsafe. Signing an executive order to end cashless bails makes the community so unsafe, unstable. It keeps families from being reunited. It causes people to lose their jobs because they may have some traffic offense, may have some non-violent offense, but they can't pay their bail. Take, for example, someone driving down the street, and they're driving down the street, and they know they don't have insurance on their car because they can't afford it. Michigan has one of the highest rates of car insurance in the United States. But I'm not just talking about Michigan. This can happen anywhere. And you don't have insurance on your car because you can't afford the insurance at the rates they are today. But nonetheless, you got to drive. You got to get your children to school. You got to go to work. You got to pay your other bills that you feel are more pressing, such as lights on at your house because your children need lights, such as food in your refrigerator because your children need sustenance, such as the house, the roof over your head because the children and you need a roof over your head, running water, etc. So you're driving down the street, you don't have insurance on your car, or you may not have license, one or the other, or both. And you're not involved in any criminal activity. You just don't have the financial means to pay for certain things. So you choose to pay for the things that are a necessity in your life, which is your food, your shelter, your child care, etc. And so you get pulled over. You don't have your license or you don't have insurance on the car, whichever one or both. They lock you up. They take your car. They impound your car. Now that's going to cost to get out. You don't even have the money to pay for insurance on the car. So how are you going to get the car out of impound? You don't have money to pay for insurance on the car. So how could you even afford a bond? So you locked up. You can't afford your bond. So what you end up doing is just to get out of it, you end up telling your attorney that you would rather just plead guilty. Just to get it over with. I plead guilty. And now that's a conviction on your record. And if it has anything to do with drugs, however minor the drugs may be, now if you were ever receiving SNAP benefits, you will no longer receive SNAP benefits. Because you cannot receive SNAP benefits with a drug conviction on your record. Now you have a conviction on your record. Now jobs look at you side-eyed and don't want to hire you. You have this conviction on your record. Now homeowners and homeowner organizations might look at you side-eyed when you go to try to rent one of their properties. There's so many repercussions that happen as a result of a conviction that didn't have to be, because had you not been locked up and given a bail that you couldn't pay, you wouldn't have lost your job, you wouldn't have lost your children, you wouldn't have lost so many opportunities to better yourself, you wouldn't have lost the opportunity to pay your bills at your house, keep a roof over your children's head, keep the lights on, the water on, etc. And had you been released on your own recognizance, what that means without bail, without cash bail, you just been released on your own word. You could have still been working. Still could have still been working. You still could have still been bringing some money home to take care of your children, keep your lights and water on, your gas on, keep the rent paid. And who knows? You possibly could have worked a few more hours, because now that the heat is on you, possibly could have worked a few more hours just to get some type of insurance on the car, because you can't even get the car out of impound at the cost that is, which in Michigan, the courts have already said the impound procedure in Michigan is morally corrupt. Yes, the court already said that. But you can't even get your car out of the impound. And then if you're able to pay for your car to get out the impound, you still got to have insurance in order to get it out. So now there's more money that you don't have. So now you just forfeit your car. Now the struggle becomes even more real. So when we talk about Trump's order to end cashless bail throughout the United States, I take that as a direct indictment of my skin tone. I take that as a direct indictment of people's bank accounts or lack thereof. I take that as a direct indictment to any organization that fights for criminal justice reform. And anybody who cannot see that Trump's executive order to end cashless bail is aimed at criminalizing organizations that fight for criminal justice reform. It is aimed at criminalizing black and brown people. It is aimed at criminalizing our poverty. Anyone that cannot see that don't want to see it, are not willing to stand up for what's right, not willing to stand up for people who cannot stand up, who are not able to stand up for themselves right now. Anyone that cannot see that is a co-conspirator of he or she who has offended us. Anyone who cannot see the atrocity being taken place with this executive order, anyone who cannot see that, you too are becoming an enemy of righteousness, an enemy of justice and equality, an enemy of anybody who stands up for themselves and fight for their right just to be treated as a human being. I say that wholeheartedly because I'm so tired of people that look like me acting like what's going on in this world. It's like the Willie Lynch syndrome. Some of us got that Willie Lynch syndrome and it's deep, right? Some of us got it and it's so deep. Willie Lynch said he go beat the hell out of the men in front of the women and children because they will remember that and they will pass that trauma down. And so each generation will genetically possess that trauma that was inflicted upon generations before them. And we don't have to say nothing at that point because the trauma is there. The threat is there. The inferiority has set in. And that's what's going on today. But I would say that we got a surprise for them. We got a surprise for them. What's the surprise? It's happening right now. It's happening right now, y'all. What happened in uh 1831? Yeah, some of my brothers know what happened in August 1831. Yeah, we rising up. We rising up. We rising up. 1831. It's my brother, August 1831. Nathaniel Turner. We don't have to tolerate the BS that we're being subjected to. All we have to do is rise up, rise up, take ownership of who we are, and stop allowing others to take ownership of us. Take ownership of the world that we envision and stop allowing others to create the world for us. Take ownership of who we are as a people and stop allowing others to define who we are not as a people. Ending cashless bail and threatening states and cities whom progressively move towards ending cash bail should strike at the very hearts of any human being. Any human being. That is a human rights violation. We have a right to be treated equal. We have a right to be assumed innocent until proven guilty. We have a right to be free and not be subjected to pretrial incarceration because we have no money to pay for our release. We have a right. We have to stand up for that right. We have to stand up for that right. And we need people to step up. We need people to step up. That's why right now I'm asking, I'm making a proposition to anybody listening to me. I'm making a proposition to anybody listening to me. Michigan Liberation. We have an event coming up next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have an event coming up. And we would like everybody, if possible. My bad, it's not Tuesday. It's not next Tuesday and Wednesday, it's following. It's and we would like everyone, we invite everyone to come and participate, you know, because too often we find ourselves in situations to where we say we didn't know, we didn't know, we didn't know. Well, right now I'm letting you know. And so we're going to look at this right here. I'm going to read this something from this document just to, I want to make sure that we know the exact dates because it's from the 8th, September 8th through the 12th. Uh, we will be canvassing neighborhoods uh, and we invite participation and online ways partners can support. We will be in Oakland County and Wayne County. So we're asking we're asking for people to participate. All you have to do, you want to know more about it, go on Michigan Liberation website. That's Michigan Liberation. You can go to you can look up My Liberation, MI Liberation, uh, on any platform, and we have all updates on there as well. That's My Liberation or Michigan Liberation. Still going to come up. I'm going to do it myself. Michigan Liberation, just to ensure Michigan Liberation right there. You just look up Michigan Liberation, and boom, you're gonna see a tree just like this. Say respect the roots right there. Look us up. That's what's gonna come up. You're gonna see a lot of the causes that we have fought for, so many that we've won. And if you want to look us up on social media, you can just go to YouTube or Instagram or one of them and just look up. And I'm doing it as I'm talking to you all. Look up Michigan Liberation, and this is what you're going to get. We have a website. That's what you're going to get. Michigan, the Michigan Mission Liberation. That's the Respect the Roots podcast that we have. You can go on there, or you can go to. Let me see here. My Liberation. That's on TikTok. My Liberation, and you will see all updates on there as well. The reason why I'm showing you all this right here is the we are we have a lot of partners. We have a lot of partners to help us fight for criminal justice reform in Michigan and throughout the United States. Right now, we should look at this signing of an executive order by Donald Trump as an indictment of all of us who are affected by poverty, who are not of European descent, but who have uh, melanated skin tone. We are victims right now. He's telling us that we're victims. He's showing us that we're victims. He's daring us to do something, and we got to do something. I'm not gonna hold y'all up. I said what I said. I meant what I said, and I said it exactly how I meant it. Trump is trying to intimidate us by his executive order to end cashless bail throughout the United States and target those states who desire is to end cash bail or uh, engage in bail reform. He wanted to withhold federal fundings for that. He still hasn't said anything about all of the police killings, though. All of the police shoots. I guess because the people don't look like him. But anyway, I'm going to say peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. And for those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message because someone